Well, let's talk healthcare. Let's talk healthcare. We got several guests in the studio, and we're honored to have these guys because they are experts. Dave Keller, Senior Vice President of IHC Specialty Benefits, and Michael Ray Newman, friend of the show from Zig Ziglar International, and Edwin Britt with Zig Ziglar as well. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad to have you guys on.
Glad to be back, man.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, you're with Zig Ziglar, but you've got a relationship with these guys over at the IHC Specialty Benefits. Let's talk about that relationship.
Yeah, the reason we decided to team up with IHC because of their integrity. And this is what we do with Ziglar. I've always told, and I have several companies. I have little companies all the way up to large companies. And when I decided to get involved with Zig Ziglar International and Mr. Ziglar's company about a year ago, we have fundamentally things when we hire people and people come to us. I tell them, I said, if you have a problem, come to me with a solution. Spend 10% of your time doing something crazy. Always ask why and what. But the coming to me with the problem thing but you have to have a solution. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't take action with IHC, because Ziglar, the reason we've partnered with them is because we have a process in selling. It's called trust, the trust process. And the American people, Main Street more than ever, are confused and discombobulated about healthcare. There's no doubt about it. So the reason we've come in to partner, if I didn't take action, I would be a hypocrite, because we have a solution for it. And the trust process is TRUST, stands for think, relate, understand, offer a solution, and take action. And we take action. Now, we have a solution for the healthcare industry. And now more than ever, customers are transparent. They do their shopping, they do their homework. I have a little car dealership, right? When the guy comes in, he knows how many days that car's been on property. He knows how much that model's been spent, how much they're paying for it. So we're more transparent. We're more fast and savvy now because of electronics as consumers. All we need is somebody that we can trust and come alongside and help with. And in the healthcare industry, that's the one that we don't understand. Main Street's that we don't understand, and it's changing. It's going to go up 25%. Some people speculate 75%, whichever side.
Like Arizona, Oklahoma, Tennessee were up like almost 80. I mean, it was ridiculous what their numbers were.
Brutal.
And we're spending. We're at the point now I have one company that has 2,500 employees. We're trying not to work people over 32 hours a week. Yep. It's going to cost us $3,000 an employee times $2,500. Now, so we don't understand it. So the reason that we've partnered with them, because if you look online, Mr. Zig Ziglar, he's time-tested and proven and more relevant today than ever because of how the world is with transparency and technology, and his integrity is unsurpassed. IHC's integrity makes a really good fit for us. So when we decided to partner with someone about this big, huge issue, because if we didn't take action, it'd make us look bad, right? Because that's what we always preach is take action. So that's why we've teamed up with Mr. Dave Keeler and IHC. And we have a webcast later today that we'll plug.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, so I want to make sure people can tune in for that. All right, Dave, so healthcare, it's obviously on the national forefront on the election. It's a topic that every company with the employees talk about. What's going on?
Well, in listening to Michael, I find it amazing to step back just a little bit. Before the enactment of the ACA plan, it was a political conversation, right? So if you were the most liberal Democrat and all for it, or if you're the most conservative Republican against it, it was a political topic and it was a political argument. And so the ACA gets passed, it gets enacted, it gets challenged, it gets upheld. And what it really happened was all of a sudden it becomes a margin issue, as you just heard Michael say. So whether you're the most liberal Democrat or the most conservative Republican, you're going, what's going on with my health care cost? It went from $500 a month to $1,500 a month, whatever it may be. And it's our role, as Michael said, to come in and work with small business owners, individuals, and families and find the right solutions for them and their family.
Yeah, because not every situation is the same.
Well, I found that out.
No matter what side of the political fence you sit on.
Exactly.
And like I've said, there was things that Hillary Clinton said about ACA that I absolutely loved, and there were some things that she said I didn't like.
Right.
So it's nice that you guys kind of take that approach to say, look, everyone's different. We want to be transparent with what's out there and help guide the consumer to ultimately get the plan that works for them. Correct. And then they can afford. So what do when you go out to small businesses, what are they telling you? What's the number one concern about are they just confused about the marketplace?
It's confusion, and it could be actually the consumers. It can be licensed insurance advisors because everything's changing daily in the news and everything's moving around. It's a moving target. So it's very hard to retain the realities of what's going on at any given moment. So again, for us, and working with a company like ZZI, which I've had some personal history going back to 2002, we we fall back on the position very simply that a prescription without proper diagnosis is malpractice in any profession. So when we go into any home or any business, we want to speak with that individual, that owner, and find out what's going on with Michael's business, his family, his employees, and then craft those specific solutions for those individuals that meet their benefit desires, hopefully, but their budgetary requirements.
Like, because your dry cleaner is going to be different than your car dealership, which is different than your 2,500 employee place.
Exactly.
As well.
And that's what we don't understand. I mean, when we get involved with insurance personnel that have said, okay, what do I have? What do I need? They're even confused sometimes.
Right.
They're like, I don't know. We got to ask more questions. Why are costs going up? I mean, is it just that we're trying to insure the people who don't have insurance? Is that some of the cost factored in? Is there just more unhealthy people in the world? I mean, clarify this for me.
I think from a personal perspective, probably more than from a professional position, I think it is a lot of those things that you just said is that the ACA and the realities of the ACA are changing so rapidly and so quickly that, and it's easy to look back, and so when you look back and you can zero in on the things that are working or not working about it, clearly the costs keep rising. You've seen some of the best insurance companies in America pull out of the ACA markets or parts of the marketplace, and the rates are just going sky high. So it's a combination of just multiple things. And quite frankly, I read something this morning that said finally both Republicans and Democrats agree it needs to change, but they haven't come up with the answers on what that should be.
I've got a friend on Facebook that just posted up that we were talking about this, and Will Beretta says that his health insurance went from $100 a month to $400 a month for major medical insurance only,
right?
Emergency room only with a $5,000 deductible. Now, with that said, he's also posted up kind of a thumbnail of the different CEOs of various healthcare companies and what they make per day and what their annual salary is, because Will's like that in a way, which, I would share that some of this cost increase that does factor in, and that's any company. We could talk about ExxonMobil, which we will later in the show, and just how little money they're actually making compared to what the health insurance companies are making. But so what goes into factoring the higher rates? I mean, Will just pointed out he went from $100 a month to $400 a month. I told you off camera or off mic here that I was $320 a month to $800 a month. What made that cost go up?
Again, a combination of factors. But when and one of the things you and I talked about the show that most people seem to embrace is the non-pre-existing condition part of ACA. So you have that element into the actuarial piece of rates in terms of there's no underwriting. So there's actually no underwriting in terms of who can apply for an ACA plan in the appropriate government open enrollment period, special enrollment periods, those kinds of things. So in that factor, just that one factor alone is going to drive up cost.
Yeah. Edwin, I'll bring you in on this conversation. You've talked to a lot of business owners. Obviously, you guys work together as, going out and doing your training. What are they telling you? What are business owners telling you?
I think there's a series of frustration because it's sort of a moving target, as these guys have alluded to, and more so than ever, which I think has created sort of a reaction. You hear that from your listeners, and we see that. And what I really think we've got to be able to do is step back and, as opposed to react, we've got to be able to respond. And when you respond towards a scenario, you must educate and validate. So unfortunately, based on where we are today, the consumers and small business owners need to take a step back and take a little bit more ownership and look to trusted advisors who really do have their best interests at heart and identify the solution that works best for them.
So what I'm hearing you say, Edwin, is this has got to get down to a personal level. They've got to call an actual person. They can answer questions instead of going onto a website and hitting boxes and clicking. We got to take a break. Up against a break. When we come back, I want to talk about that.
Absolutely.
And how the personal aspect of all of this can help you get over that hump and maybe find the financial plan that's right for you and your family or your business. It's 7:28. Thanks, Will, for commenting on that. If you got a question, message me as well. I want to. Hey, we got the experts here in the studio. We got the experts here, so why not take advantage of it? We'll be right back. Give us a few. Listen, 6:20 a.m. KEXP. Your experts in healthcare today. See ya. All right, we're back. We didn't start the fire. It's always been burning. Just for the record, I did not start that fire.
Right. It was Gruber, right?
Yeah, it was Gruber. Yeah, and he was in the hot seat a couple days ago. And, of course, Jonathan Gruber is one of the architects for Obamacare and says that, hey, I know one way to get it going. We'll just increase the penalty for not having Obamacare. Therefore, it'll force everybody to buy it, and then it will take off. But anyway.
You know what it's forcing me into is one of those Medishare one of those Medishare plans.
Oh, Medishare. But you bring something up, which is, I'm sure, that our guest here today. Let me kind of recap. I got Dave Keller. He's a senior vice president of IHC Specialty Benefits.
Keeler, isn't it?
Keeler. Yeah. Michael Ray Newman. There we go. Michael Ray Newman and Edwin Britt, both of the Zig Ziglar International organization, which we're glad to have you guys on the show. Okay, before we get much further in this discussion, you guys have a very unique situation today, a webcast. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it alludes to what Michael talked about early on in the program, is that we wanted to bring our two brands together because we believe heavily in integrity-driven sales, and particularly with what we're talking about in terms of the ACA and what it means for people inside and outside the government open enrollment periods. For consumers in the marketplace, whether they're moms and pops or whether they're large businesses like Michael's talking about, the best question ever is, what's the wise thing to do? And so what we want to do this afternoon twice, I think it's at 10 o'clock Central Time and 1 o'clock Central Time here in Dallas with the Ziglar folks, is we want to help trusted and licensed advisors understand that sales is something you do for someone, not to someone. And then when you get in with these situations, again, your role is to determine what's the best thing for them.
Absolutely. And I said right before the break that, in the past, when you go sign up for something, you go to a website, you point, click, drop down, hit that tab, hit confirm. I think personal service, human interaction is the best way to do this, and that's where your company comes in.
Absolutely. And it's, again, about doing the right thing. So if the right thing to do is to put somebody on an ACA plan, we absolutely encourage that. We absolutely believe that that's what a licensed trusted advisor should do. Now, they may need ancillary coverages. There's some different things to go along with that to help out their out-of-pocket or their deductible exposure. But it's really getting down to the fingerprint of every individual and what is your situation, what is your budget, what is your exposure, and how can we best serve you?
Okay, let's just say you're a 25-year-old male, you're single, you're not married, you're healthy, and you work full-time. I know this is very general, but give me an idea of what type of, non-smoker, no pre-existing conditions, like what have you found, like typically ballpark of what that would run? Well, or is that an impossible question to answer?
It's not an impossible question to answer. It's all over the map again. Mm-hmm. But what we would typically find, is that the 25-year-old's not thinking about health care at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're absolutely right.
I have a couple, and I can tell you what they're doing. I know what it's costing them now. Yeah. I have a 26-year-old daughter who's just what you just described, and she got to the point where she said, I'm not having insurance. I said, we're not doing that. Because of her budget now, she was going to pay the penalty. So her budget really wouldn't allow for the insurance. She's just going to go without. So we had to come in and help her out.
Okay, as a dad, you don't want that.
We step in, and now we're planning for next year where she can't afford it. So what it was supposed to help with, that group of people,
sure,
and a lot of times it'll hinder them. So I can tell you right now, there's no way to put a price on it because we shopped it like crazy, and it was like all over the board. We needed help finding out who can really help us with this. There's not even a real number to get. It's just hard to get a hold of someone because, like I said, the experts are even, they're even perplexed about a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and back in the day, that 25-year-old single person, non-smoker, healthy, it might be $100 a month, $150 a month.
And they could purchase coverage. They knew what the coverage was. They could put it in place. It would stay in force, and it wouldn't get disrupted. And even in today's world, whether it's a 25-year-old or a 45-year-old, let's say they buy some type of ACA coverage, subsidy-driven, non-subsidy-driven, it's become a durational plan. So at the end of that year, at the end of this, say 2017, they're going to be very likely be looking for their next carrier, their next coverage, because the network may have changed or they may be pulling out of the state. So it's a moving target for every age, for every family, for every business side. And again, it goes back to what Edwin said just a minute ago, is that you really have to zero in on what that individual or what that business needs. And so if an organization, I'm not saying that they do, but if an organization, there's a lot of great companies out there, but if an organization went in and said, we have this one product, and this one product fits all, it works best for everybody, it's just not reality in today's world. You have to do that diagnosis. you have to ask your question, what's the wise thing to do? And then you have to provide that solution.
Well, also, you guys find, Edwin, that companies are more diverse than ever. They've got young millennials, they've got the 25-year-old, and they got the 65-year-old. They're all working underneath the same umbrella. So, so trying to go in and come up with this magical healthcare plan that fits a company to a T is impossible because our workforce is so diverse.
Well, I think that speaks to the webcast we're doing later today is continuing to educate and validate those that are in the industry, so that one of the key questions we teach inside the trust selling process, and Michael and I travel all over America doing this, is what is it you're trying to accomplish? And so I think that's a really pertinent question we've got to ask to the consumers, and the consumers need to reflect upon, because it is a different scenario for a 25-year-old than a 60-year-old.
Yeah. We should have shared earlier, the title of our webcast is Healthcare 2017, Scared or Prepared, and it's really directed towards that.
Scared. I'm raising my hands right now, scared.
Licensed advisors on, there's a lot of great licensed advisors out there across the country that are, quite frankly, they don't know whether staying in the industry is the right thing for them because margins are squeezed on their compensation and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So one of the things that we want to help them understand today is that the ACA is the ACA, and whatever changes happen tomorrow, change is inevitable, growth is optional, right? So whatever changes occur with ACA, we brace the ACA from the impact that it allows everybody to have a conversation. And it's a conversation, we're doing it right now, is that it's all over the map. And so let's talk about what that means, and then you craft that solution that's specific for that family, and it has become much more relational in nature as opposed to transactional, because we want to keep checking in with Edwin and his family and his 3 beautiful daughters. Are we still good? Is the solution we crafted for you still the right one, or do we need to adjust it here or there, whether it's an ACA plan or some other alternative products that are out there that can complement ACA plans?
Yeah. And that's what I love about what you guys do, because that's what you do. You make this on a personal level. Let me ask you a question. Is ACA helping those who had originally it was intended to help, kind of the uninsured, maybe the younger people who didn't have health insurance? I mean, has it accomplished that goal?
I think to some degree, from a personal perspective, they need the coverage and they need the subsidies. They can't afford traditional coverage, and they are able to get that type of access. Now, what has that done and the ripple effect of how that affects everybody else in terms of the big grand pool of everybody that was going to be a part of ACA? I think that's the other the other side of it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it has helped those who need it, and we all know there's a lot of people in our society that need assistance. They need help, and I totally get that. And the only thing my problem is with it is that I thought everything was going around just great, what I had, and all of a sudden, it's like, no, it kind of got derailed.
Well, I had somebody come to me one time and said, hey, can you help? So their family coverage went up from $500 a month to $1,500 a month.
Holy cow.
And I jokingly said, no, it didn't go up from $500 to $1,500. Theirs is still $500 a month. They're just paying for 2 other families as well. And so
that's great. You know what? That's actually a great analogy on that. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah,
could we divide it a little better than that, to where I'm not just paying for 2 families outright like that? Yeah.
Well,
it's all perspective.
And
right?
I guess perspective of companies. We talked. If you're American Airlines and you're a gigantic company, your health, you probably haven't been hit by a lot of this stuff because you're. Maybe am I wrong?
I can tell you that we consult and work with a company that has 15,000 employees. Last year, they made the decision that if your spouse works and that they offer insurance at that company, you have to go there.
You have to.
They mandated that their spouse, if they offer insurance to go there, they're going to drop it. So, I mean, that's not American Airlines, 15,000, but you can see those things coming.
But even in those scenarios, what they are finding is it can affect employee retention, because if your deductible for the group plan goes up and some of your out-of-pocket goes up and some of the things change, whether it's a male spouse at home or female spouse at home, that's a big change for them. So they're like, wait, the longer you stay with the company you're with, the weaker or more exposure you have on your company benefits. So even there, somebody that has a really good group policy, a company like ours and many others out there, we can offer gap coverages that can help them cover some of those out-of-pocket expenses that may come up from a deductible standpoint or out-of-pocket standpoint.
Yeah, because the competition for qualified skilled workers is hotter than ever. So this is just a trump card to use to get people to get people to come.
You're on today.
Yeah. It's that spark, that Abacare spark.
Hey, yeah. I need to get that right
true.
now.
I won't say this segment's brought to you by Spark, but it kind of is, actually.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. But benefits more than ever almost speak louder than a salary. So if someone can go to their employee and say, hey, I've got a great health insurance plan, and they weigh the cost.
Well, again, in that group market, what are we talking about? Their margin just got affected. Somebody with good group coverage, their margin, their family, disposable income, it got affected.
I remember years ago, I was a marketing director for a major restaurant chain, and we had free health care. You didn't pay a darn thing.
What country were you in?
I was in Florida, and this is 2000.
That is a different country.
Yeah, really.
Hey,
not a darn thing. Absolutely free. And boy, has things changed since then.
Absolutely.
My goodness. That was Panera Bread, by the way. They had phenomenal benefits. Phenomenal benefits. Anyway, all right. We'll continue this conversation at 8 o'clock hour. And like I said, if you've got a question, I don't care how big your business is, how small your business is, how complex your situation is, Facebook me. I've got a couple messages that came in. I've got to check. Or give me a call, 214-787-1160. But after the break, we all need leadership skills. We all need anger management skills. Trust me, I need to talk. I can't wait to talk to Casey on the other side of this break. But it's all about mentoring people, helping teens out, and getting them off to a great start in life. We'll talk about how you can get involved. It is 7:44. Stick around. Lots more ahead. DFW Business Today. I am not mad, Michael. I'm not mad. I promise you this.
Which way are you defining mad here?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
No, I am mad. I am mad. But I am.
Because I see you over there with a big Cheshire cat and grin, and I'm thinking you're mad in some way.
I'm not mad.
Yes.
Anyway, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. 7:49. Hey, look, if you want to make a difference in your community, get out and help mentor teens and other individuals that need. Hey, you know what? That's what this world's lacking, is mentors and people that can make a positive impact in someone's life. And joining us on the line is Casey Waller. She has a school, and she trains people to be life counselors and helps teens basically get off the street and get in the right direction. And she's got some things going on. Good morning, Casey.
Good morning. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for joining me again on the show.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
All right, let's talk about what's going on tonight. You guys have a very interesting series that can train people to kind of, help others in their community. Let's talk about what you have tonight.
Yes, what we put together is called a community engagement initiative, and this is where we are seeking key leaders in the community who want to make a difference, and they can come in and provide life skills and anger management classes for people, like I said, all the way down from the youth to adults, all the way to corporate America. So we really just recognize that there's a lot of unhealthy individuals, and what we do is we want to provide the necessary skill set so that people can become more effective and healthier communicators.
Absolutely. I think it all comes down to communication. That is in the family, that's in the workplace, that's in the community, and we've seen that, amongst the community, like the police departments need to do a better job of communicating to their area and establishing that better relationship. Now, how do you do that? What is the first thing that's involved in being a better communicator?
The first thing is to be able to kind of get rid of self, because sometimes we care about our perspective only, and it actually hinders the growth of the relationship because that emotional intelligence is not used. And the emotional intelligence allow us to come and down to the level where that person is, or up, however, and connect with them and see things through their lenses. And then that way you can provide the understanding amongst two people. And where you have understanding, you can do anything.
There you go. Now, there's a business format to all of this. You guys are training individuals to go out, complete this necessary course, and be a franchise owner. Tell me about that.
Yes, so we started, and the company originally started in Dallas and kind of branched out to the DFW Metroplex area, and it worked so well. We ended up in 180 different court systems in 7 counties, and also working with corporate America, such as half and half, employees blowing up on the job, borders, you name it, even all the way down to Kaufman County Sheriff, the correctional officers. And we identified that wherever there's county courts or municipal courts, or pretty much any area where there's people, this can be duplicated. So the model, it just really came down to understanding that the need was so high, and it's an untapped industry. A lot of people don't see this as an opportunity where they can make it a career or a business. And now we're allowing people to take our model and take it into the area of their choice, into whole group classes.
Casey Waller joining us on the phone. How can someone get involved in your conference tonight and get more information on perhaps getting into that franchise?
Well, you can simply go to our website, www.innovativelifeskills.com, and go to our events tab. And there you can find the conference call information, the PIN code, and you can just join in and hear more detailing about how you can become certified to hold classes and become a franchise owner.
There you go. I promise you, one of these nights I'm gonna join you guys. It's just so tough at night, Casey, because I go to bed so dadgum early because this stupid job has me up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Which I'm so grateful I have. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mad.
I got you.
I'm not hating. I'm not mad. But I invite everybody to go to that website, check it out, and get involved. And perhaps, at the end of the day, Casey, you're helping people in the community, and that's double thumbs up for that. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Casey Waller joining us this morning. Oh, it's all about making a positive impact, guys, right? I mean, come on now.
Absolutely.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about.
that's what I'm talking about, being positive. I've always said, there's one thing, I don't have a whole lot of stuff in life. I really don't. I don't think I'm very smart, and I'm just being honest. But I have a positive attitude. And I'm telling you, a positive attitude, you can kick ass in this world more than you know it.
Attitude, effort, or skill, what's the most important?
That's it. No, I totally.
I could teach you everything else if you
know
have
what's
that kind
funny?
of attitude.
When I was a small business owner and we owned a frozen custard franchise, we started one years ago, and I would hire people, and I would always profile when they walked out of their car into my office. If they walked with a pep in their step and some positivity, and their head up, and they looked like they were confident, they're hired. I don't care if they never had a job in their entire life. If they had the will and the effort and the confidence and the positive outlook on life,
Attitude, baby.
your attitude, you're hired.
And
It's your
Brian,
attitude, not your aptitude.
And it's that first encounter you have every day. That's the catalyst for how your day goes.
You're absolutely right.
And it's contagious either way.
Yeah, we say let's have a better than good day at Zig Ziglar.
There you go. I was a fan of Zig Ziglar before I even met you.
That's right.
I really was.
Heard.
I mean, I'd
You
followed
were quoting quotes back to me when I first met you.
I'm all about that. And I think that your outlook on life and your future really starts right in your own head. It's like, hey, I want to choose to be happy. A lot of people wake up they choose not to be happy, actually.
That's
it's actually
exactly
easier to choose not to be happy.
We make it is a choice.
It is a choice.
Yeah.
It's
Nobody controls it except you.
That's it. Zig Ziglar. How can somebody get a hold of all the stuff you guys do?
ZigZiglarInternational.com. Right, Edwin?
That's it.
877-ZIGLAR-1 is the phone number.
And Dave, on all the insurance,
IHC.
IHC especially, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
There's numerous ways, but I would say go to IHCSpecialtyBenefits.com or actually HealthyDeals.com.
Okay, HealthyDeals.com. Right. HealthyDeals.com.
Right.
That's easier for me to remember.
And that's health, the letter E, deals.com.
Gotcha.
Or the webinar today, they can go to your link.
Yeah, we're going to put a link up here. As soon as I get in the break, I can check my email. I'll post it up.
Great.
But a lot of fantastic information this past hour. If you missed it, we're going to kind of reset in the 8 o'clock hour along with some other news stories. But this is a big thing. It's in the news. I mean, healthcare is a big issue in this country. And if you're a small business owner or you're a large business owner or you've got several businesses that you own, it affects you one way or the other. And it all comes down to money is essentially what we're getting at. ExxonMobil is in the news. We're going to talk about their profits. Now, don't get me wrong. They're still making money. But wait till you find out what their profit is now compared to what it was just a few years ago. It really is amazing. And when you look at the amount of debt they now have, what is the future of ExxonMobil? I know it sounds crazy for me to even ask this question, but what is the future? And how can this presidential election affect ExxonMobil and our whole oil industry? You've had Cutter Brewer from City Royalty Loan comes on the show. We talk about oil all the time. It has struggled to get out of the $50 mark. What does that mean to consumer? Well, we got low gas prices, but what does that mean to corporate America and ExxonMobil? Their profits are down big time. As always, go onto our website, 620amkexb.com, for more information on this show and other shows on this fine radio network that is Salem Media. It's almost 8 o'clock, a couple minutes away from 8 o'clock. Reach out to us on 620 AM Facebook or call me, 214-787-1160 after the break. It's about health care. Tune in. We'll see you in a few. Good morning, 8:02. We are back live, 620 AM KEXB, your experts in business. Thanks for joining us. If you missed it in the 7 o'clock hour, it was all about healthcare. Because that's what you're talking about. Let's be honest. That's what you're talking to your friends about on Facebook, other than where you're going to go out to eat this weekend. You're talking about your coworkers. Hey, did you get that letter in the mail? Supposedly, new letters go out November 1st for this. It's in the media. It's in the presidential election. Healthcare. Big topic right now. Good morning, Producer Mike.
Good morning.
I just read another story, and we'll get into weather in just a second, but Twitter to lay off another 9% of their staff?
Wow.
We just did a story a week ago that said they were laying off 6% of their staff. So,
you know, it used to be that people would go on Twitter and tweet the wrong thing, and then they'd lose their job. But now you're saying that Twitter itself is not doing the right thing with their tweets.
I've almost gotten fired on Twitter before.
Exactly.
I did a tweet a couple years ago, and all I said was hashtag unconstitutional. And all of a sudden, my phone rang, and it was the news director, and she said, I need you to take down that tweet. And I said, what tweet? She goes, don't play dumb. You know what you did? I said, I just put hashtag unconstitutional, because it was. She goes, we don't share those views here. So I took it down, because I respect authority. I respect my boss. I respect my paycheck. I didn't agree with her, but I took it off.
Wow.
Okay. I'm a company man.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm a company man.
Like my job.
Yeah, I like my job. But anyway, let's get into weather real quickly. It's a little cooler out there, but I don't know if this is going to go down in the record books as one of the warmest Octobers ever, but it's got to be close.
I'm thinking it's got to be close with all the days we're having between 85 and 90 degrees. It's going to be right up there again today. We're starting out right now. It is still 69 here at DFW Airport. We're right across the street from that at our studios. We're headed for a high of 85 today, 86 tomorrow, and for the next several days, right about the same thing. Mostly sunny skies, breezy, and warm beginning on Saturday. But until then, we just got light winds. And, of course, they're from the south, so that makes things kind of humid. And I hope you have something comfortable to dress in for Halloween because it's going to be warm.
I'm going as a streaker at a European soccer game.
Okay, once the sun sets on Halloween night, I think maybe you might not want to do that.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that.
It could be kind of cold.
I do want to stay out of jail.
It'll be cold.
I want to stay out of jail, and but I will get off because of lack of evidence. No one can identify me.
Nice.
All right, what's making headlines? Of course, the race is tighter than ever, according to a lot of people. I was casually watching Hillary Clinton's campaign rally yesterday, and she had a whopping 5,500 views on her Facebook Live. And I've got to say this, it was very interesting because all the comments and all the emojis that were on there were all angry faces and not very kind words for her. And I switched over to Donald Trump's rally, and I think he had in the neighborhood of 500 and something thousand, 100,000. I mean, it was like 500,000 views on this thing. And, of course, you couldn't even see the screen because it was all these thumbs and loves and hearts. If you just go off this, and we said this the other day, if you're just a casual observer, look, I'm just a common sense kind of guy. If I look at all of this, and you see these rallies where they're filling up these gigantic stadiums, and you see hers, and she's in Midlothian at the middle school, and you got 100 people hooting and hollering in the back. Who's ahead? Who's got more momentum going in this election? We got 12 days left.
Honestly,
I don't know.
She'd be in the wrong county if she was in Midlothian Middle School.
Well, one of the things on here is, can Clinton win Texas?
No. Not even if Ann Richards was still governor. Nope.
Which I liked her, by the way.
Sorry.
I don't know. It's interesting. It really is. But one of the topics that is on everybody's mind is healthcare, and we'll continue that topic this half hour as we have some experts in the studio. Let's get into, like, first of all, Dave, tell me about, like, when you meet with small business owners, and it can be from the mom and pop. I use my perfect example on the show, which I might as well get in this business, by the way, is a flower shop. I don't know why, but I'm going to get in the flower business one day. But let's say I'm a mom and pop flower shop. What's my concern when you talk to these small business owners? What are they telling you? Why is healthcare such a critical issue for them?
Cost. I mean, it's their cost, and it's the rising cost, and they don't know what's going to happen next with their networks. Their carrier, is their carrier going to stay in place and in position in who they've chosen? So for small business owners who are always laser focused, because no matter what, and a typical small business owner, if they're going to be sick, you have to take them screaming, kicking to the hospital, right? True. Because they got to get up and open their flower shop. So for them, they want stability, and they want a real stable product and a real stable rate, so that they can run their business and determine their margins and just try to make a few bucks as a small business owner.
Because the guy's wearing multiple hats. He's a sales guy. He preps the flowers. He delivers them. He does everything. So his game plan's a little different than someone that might own 2,500 employees,
right?
Like your situation.
Exactly, much different. And it's really impacting, I have a little dry cleaners also that's way different, like your flower shop, to the 2,500 employee business that we're even looking at paying the penalty and shortening the hours, but then they take the number of hours divided by 40,
That's
and they
correct.
count that as FTEs.
Is that what they do?
That's correct. Yeah, it's you're not going to wiggle around that. They're going to aggregate your employees as full-time employees, even if you had a room full of 30-hour a week employees.
Interesting.
And here's the bad part of that for us. A lot of our employees are lower wage. The jobs are a little bit lower wage, so they need the health insurance, they need the health care, but we're thinking about paying the penalty and just
and so they suffer at that.
I can pay $220,000 on a $7 million company and get in for less, come out ahead, because our margins have shrunk.
And for those employees, it's not necessarily a bad strategy either, because instead of having group coverage with Michael's company, for example, and they decide to change jobs or they are terminated for one reason or another and they lose their coverage, a lot of companies are going from group to individual, and they're allowing that employee to get their own coverage. Okay, and then if they happen to leave the company, they own that coverage, or they have their solution, they can take it with them. It's portable.
It's kind of like a 401k.
Yeah, we've done that in Zig Ziglar International. We've let them do that.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Well, and ultimately, what you're hearing these guys talk about is that, unfortunately, based on where the rules are today, we have to become more informed as consumers, because these choices now, where 10 years ago, people didn't think about health insurance. It was a rite of passage, and someone else guided them. Well, when the rules change, we have to adapt to that. So that goes back to what Mr. Ziglar taught us about reacting versus responding. We've got to take a responsive, proactive. So we've got some skin in the game. We've got to get involved as business owners, as consumers. Why we do need a trusted advisor who can counsel and give us a choice that meets our needs.
Yeah, and Dave, that's exactly what your company does over at IHC Specialty Benefits.
Correct.
How long have you guys been around? How did you get in the business, by the way? I always like to ask that initial question. Well, how did you get in what you do?
Well, I got to be honest. I'm headed towards my 35th year in the industry, and I started as a 20-year-old man in Clearwater Beach, Florida.
Beautiful place, by the way.
It is indeed. Still live there in the Tampa Bay area. I love it. Lived in Dallas for 18 years, so this is a great city as well. But no, I started out selling and serving individuals and families, belly to belly, handshake to handshake.
Look at that.
At the kitchen table, one sale at a time. And, evolved from there into multiple businesses and running large organizations and sales organizations. And one of the things that I thought about as you were speaking here, and with our organization today, the majority of the people that are licensed advisors with our organization are independent contractors, okay? So they're not an employee of an insurance company. So when they're out there in the marketplace, and we teach and train them a lot of the skill sets that even the Ziglar organization does, one of the things that we tell them is that you have to identify with who they are as individuals. So a lot of our licensed, trusted advisors, they're small business, self-employed American entrepreneurs serving small business, self-employed American entrepreneurs. Yeah. So you can connect with that, as opposed to if you walk in, and no offense to employed people in the insurance industry, but if you walk in as the insurance man or as the insurance woman, these walls come up, and it's like, what are you going to sell? What are you going to sell at me, or what are you going to do to me, as opposed to how can we work in unison? Because you may own your flower shop, and I may be a self-employed, licensed, trusted insurance advisor, but we can connect on the fact that we work hard, We try to make a buck. We try to grow the top line. We try to protect the bottom line. We try to have margin. And we also want to have good comprehensive care and healthcare coverage for our families or us as individuals. So, so we don't experience medical bankruptcy. I mean, the worst thing that could possibly happen is to pay $500 a month for comprehensive care, or God forbid, $1,000 a month for comprehensive care, and you still have some type of catastrophic claim. Somebody put you in the wrong solution, the wrong program for you and your family. You have a tremendous out-of-pocket expense, and you have no choice but as a successful person in business to file for medical bankruptcy. That's not the American dream.
Yeah, I met a gentleman just the other day who had a major accident. I think he had like $100,000 in bills. And I go, what? Did you have a health insurance? He's like, oh, yeah. He goes, that $5,000 deductible, I was happy to pay that because
Absolutely.
the rest of it was covered. And, and there's examples like that. And obviously, a guy like me, knock on wood, or I should knock on my head, rather, I'm never sick. And God has blessed me where I don't get sick. I haven't had injuries. My kids don't get sick. I've just been very fortunate to have good health, and I don't take that for granted. But God forbid if something happens, sometime we may not bitch and complain at all about paying that $5,000.
Correct.
Because that covers so much. And so what we do hear about the monthly costs going up. We had this story, a guy named Jay Wells, I think somewhere in the South, had $711 a month was his monthly, and jacked up to $1,850. And we're seeing stories like that time after time, especially on social media now, how people can get on there and rant. What do you do? I mean, if all of a sudden these new letters go out, November 1st is from what I'm told that's the date of some of the new rates. I mean, how do you react to that? I mean, what's the game plan when all of a sudden your health insurance monthly cost has doubled, if not tripled?
I don't know what you do as a consumer. I know Edwin said it earlier. How do we respond to that instead of react to it?
There you go.
I saw a letter yesterday that somebody posted on Facebook, a friend of ours, and his was $800, and now it's $1,800, and for his family of three. So that's an offsetting moment that'll definitely open you up for some retention and all of a sudden
because something's getting cut in your budget. Right. And if you're a business owner, something's getting cut. Either I don't know what you're doing, liquidating an asset, not saying I'm going to fire 3 people because I'm going to take their job because that covers my added cost. I don't know what you do.
Well, as a business owner, I can tell you right now that you look at things differently. And the first thing I'm going to do is really try to dig in and get educated so I can respond to it. And that's the whole reason that ZZI, that we're here today, Zig Ziglar International. The reason we partner with IHC is because of the integrity in the marketplace. We have something, like I said in the 7 o'clock hour, we have something at Ziglar with the process, the way we teach our salespeople is to come alongside people. And the way we can come alongside with IHE because of their integrity and what the products they do have, this industry needs help in educating the consumer. And we need help as consumers, too. So if we sit on the sidelines, like I said, it would make us look bad. And because we do have a solution. So take action is what I encourage in all my companies. Take action and then find out how to make it the right thing to do.
And the ACA, it makes it very, very easy to have a conversation. So as much as people don't want to talk about it or they have these real firms and views and opinions about it, the one thing about the ACA is it's very easy to engage and have a conversation. So Brian, how's the ACA affecting you? And let's talk about that. And then let's diagnose what's going on with you and your family, your business, and let's create the right solution for you and your family.
And I think what you said earlier is it's a good example how this is still a very people-person business.
Absolutely.
And you've been shaking hands and kissing babies for 35 years, and that when it comes down to it, getting the right plan for you and your family or your company, it comes down to getting to know the people, and that's exactly what you do.
You got to go eyeball to eyeball.
Eyeball to eyeball. Mano to mano. Hey, there you go. Fist pump on that. It's 8:15. We got to take a break. We come back. We'll wrap up this conversation. I know you guys have got to get out, and we want to emphasize once again when we come back, your webinar that you can get involved with.
Absolutely.
Great.
All right, give us a few minutes. We'll come right back. And we are back. 8:20 on this Thursday morning. Good morning, everybody. DFW Business Today. Brian Glenn here. And boy, have we had about an hour and a half of great conversation about healthcare and really how it affects you, the consumer, the business owner, the person working at a major company, or perhaps you don't have a lick of insurance right now. We've had the information for you. Dave Keeler, he's a Senior Vice President of IHC Specialty Benefits, along with Michael Ray Newman and Edwin Britt, both of Zig Ziglar International, which, by the way, you guys have a fantastic kind of a webinar going on today that you can get more information about what you guys do. But then, hey, if you're looking to change your life in 2017, if you're looking to make a positive impact in your company, your family, your life, your community, you got to get involved with Zig Ziglar.
That'll preach, baby.
Preach.
Tell them,
2017, Mr. Ziglar's best top book was called See at the Top. We're going to be going all around the country with a full day of motivation, leadership, goals programs, and we're kicking that off in Dallas in January. We'll be coming to a city near you. Plug in, invest in yourself, have your best year ever. Go to zigziglerinternational.com to the website for more information about when we're coming to your city.
Check this out. While we're doing that, see you at the top event, this motivational event, Change Your Life, Best Year Ever event, because Andy Costa is an award-winning Emmy documentarist.
There you go.
Close, something like that. He runs documentaries, and he's awesome. All right? Okay. He's doing the Ziglar he's wrapping up the Ziglar documentary. At the end of that day, we're going to play Zig Ziglar's official Ziglar documentary on that day.
Documentarian.
Documentarian. There you go. That's a mid-low boy right there.
Yeah, it's a mid-low boy down there. And I've always said, you can choose to be happy in life. You can choose to make a difference. You can choose to improve your life, or you can choose to sit on your ass and not do anything.
That's fact.
And I'm just being very honest. Excuse my language, but that's what it comes down to. So make the choice. Be positive. Make a difference in your life, and better yourself.
That's right.
And once you when you surround yourself with people that have the same mindset as you, things happen.
Bam.
It's just like that. All right, we've talked about healthcare the last hour and a half. We've got a lot of information. If you own a small business, if you're in control of a large business, I want you to get a hold of Dave here. What is the best contact information website?
The best contact information for us is our website, healthydeals.com. So that's health, the letter E, deals.com. And with the ACA coming up, and even outside the government open enrollment period, contact us, take a look at our website. Let us have a conversation with you. It's just a conversation, and we will always do the right thing for you and your family.
I think you're going to be so busy because once these letters go out November 1st around that, about these new rates going up, people, once they freak out, but as Zig Ziglar says,
it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. Don't freak out, right?
That's right.
Just react.
That's right.
Make a decision.
Respond, not react.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
maybe I need to take the class. I jacked that off.
Point, man. You're all
you respond, not react. Yeah. And, of course, call Dave. And, of course, Zig Ziglar, you guys got events. And, Edwin, best way to get a hold of all these events?
Yeah, zigziglerinternational.com. You just be able to click in public events. We'll be coming to a city near you. It's going to be fantastic. Can't wait to come see you and meet you and shake your hand 2017.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, Obamacare and healthcare is a very hot topic in the debate. So get the facts. Don't freak out. You can freak out initially, but then there's a way that you can respond to all of that, and we appreciate you guys going. I know you guys have to bump out of here to beat some traffic, but we certainly appreciate
your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, so that was definitely something that we've been covering on this show for quite a number of months, is healthcare, and it was great, Michael, to have some experts in the studio that could tell us exactly what we need to do.
Yeah, I wish they would stick around and help me with my own personal problems here.
Yeah.
Do I have to make an appointment?
Yeah, I need to. The Zig Ziglar folks could just hang around here and just motivate me throughout the day. I'd appreciate that.
That would be awesome. We just follow him on Twitter and play his stuff. That'd be fine.
You can just follow him on Twitter and all that good stuff. All right, we'll see you guys later. You guys have a safe trip out. Make a right the other way. The other way. Michael Ray Newman's just walking around with the selfie stick on Facebook Live.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. Let's not do that. There we go. They're in the right direction.